Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. The lighting is horrendous. We're gonna do this intro very quickly. Welcome to another vlog. I am in the moving mood. I have a lot of energy that I need to get out, and I should have gone to the gym, but I didn't. So we're gonna reorganize my office. It's a lot. It's a lot. I have a ton of books. I don't know how many, but I have a ton. I also have my reptiles in here, and I also have my desk. And it's quite a journey trying to move the stuff in here, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna try it out. I do this quite often, unfortunately, for my back. So it's probably not the best idea because it's burning hot outside, as it does in the south. Ultimate goal is that I would like to move all of my classics, and I have a whole big stack in my living room, or in my bedroom, that are waiting for a place. I wanna move them onto my shelves. Right now I have one shelf that is not taken up, and it's this bottom one, and I think that I could possibly make it work, so, with some moving around. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see if I like the new setup. I'm considering just taking the chair out, but we're gonna get started and see how it goes. And it's gonna get very hot in here at some point, so let's just do it. So that's the situation. There's still some books there and some stuff there, and then my classics are still over here. But this is a lot of books. This is a lot of books. Okay, I'm very sweaty and very tired, but so this is the shelves. I always have more YA fantasy than I remember, so things are a little bit packed. And I have a lot of shelf decor to find room for, so I might take a break and come back and decide how I want to decorate, or I'll do it now. Knowing me, I'll probably do it now. I still have to move my desk, obviously, still. So this is the completed room. Hi, bud. We have our shelves, my desk, and then my chair over there, obviously. So this is my historical romance, contemporary romance, down to unread TBR for sale books, adult fantasy, down to YA fantasy, YA fantasy, YA fantasy, middle grade. This one under the middle grade is mystery. It's like mystery and regular fiction, classics. Haven't added all my classics yet. And then my manga, the rest of the shelves. I definitely wanted more space for my desk because I obviously use my desk more than the reading chair, and so when I had it in the corner, it was sort of like a reading corner moment, but I feel like the desk just works a little bit better in my everyday. So I also just wanted a little bit of a change up. But I'm sweaty. I need to have a drink, not an alcoholic drink, but like an actual drink, some water, and get a snack, and then we'll talk, I think. Also, this is the outfit for the evening. This blue shirt, these pink little pajama shorts, new top, liking the blue, and I'm trying to be cuter, a little bit more intentional, and a little bit more intentional with my at-home outfits. Like, obviously still comfy, but stuff that I'm like, this is cute, you know, just to make myself feel a little bit better. I am making a little mid-evening pour over iced coffee, so I thought we could talk about what's been going on. I'm nothing if not a little bit self-indulgent. You haven't noticed because I intentionally film content to make it so, but I have been taking a little bit of a break, as I'm wont to do. I have been falling into a little bit of, I don't know, some stewing, some negativity around my entire being. And it's been a cycle, definitely, for the past couple of months. I would say April, I have been struggling just a teeny bit with, I don't know, my purpose, feeling like I don't know what I'm doing with my life, have been questioning who I am, what I'm doing, what sort of stuff I'm making, who cares, like, who even cares about, if I were to disappear off the face of the earth, like, who would even care? Those sort of, like, melancholy things. And then I was working with my therapist. I've been working with my therapist for weeks and weeks and weeks about it. And I had this moment where she had been giving me writing prompts. And the writing prompt that she had given me was to do like a fan fiction of my life. And the fan fiction of my life that I ended up doing was pretending that I was a hobbit in the Shire. She was asking me, like, what is the Shire and what do hobbits symbolize for you? And so, you know, obviously I was like, safety, warmth, and the beauty of a simple life. I think a lot of people get caught up in the purpose, and they think that their purpose in life has to be changing the course of history, solving cancer, seeing every country before they're 30, like really big, really unattainable dreams for a lot of people. And I just don't see purpose that way. I've never felt that way about myself and my purpose. And I had this moment where I was like, I'm really happy about where I'm at, and that is my purpose. My purpose is to be doing the things that I'm doing right now. And it just was this moment where all of these desperate parts of myself kind of clicked into place. All of these very disconnected thoughts and feelings that I've been having have just kind of like flowed together. And it sort of sparked my energy, and it reminded me why I do this, reminded me why I love doing this, and so here we are. I thought that was a really lovely moment. And the side note, the story about the Hobbit, me being the Hobbit and all that, I'm still writing it, and it's not for consumption, it's purely just for myself. I've been writing to tap into my creativity recently, and it's not something that I'm interested in sharing by any means, but it's been nice because I've always told myself, like when I was in middle school, I used to write very Shadowhunters inspired stories. So I loved writing. I thought it was the coolest thing. I thought I was so creative. And as I got older, I just started telling myself that it wasn't for me. I'm not creative in that way, and it's been nice to kind of explore my creativity in a different way that's not necessarily for like other people, you know? As much as I love doing this and I do this for myself, it's also obviously has a feedback loop of like, if I'm putting stuff out there and nobody is liking it, what's the point sort of situation. So it's nice to create for the sake of it. And so it's sort of been revitalizing, which I love. And I just wanted to share that because when you are used to being in negative thought patterns, when you are used to the comfortability of being negative and being sad all the time can be really hard to break yourself out of those patterns. And when your most comfortable state of being is like, I suck, I'm the worst, nobody cares, I could die right now and nobody would care. I'm never going to produce anything valuable, my life is not valuable. Like, when that is your frame of mind for your entire life, it's really hard to break those cycles. And any time you can break that cycle, even if it's only for a couple of seconds, I think that's a really beautiful thing, and it's something worth celebrating. And then I'm gonna make it iced. The other day, I made some disgustingly sweet coffee because I was under the impression that the Nespresso pods that I had were for full cups of coffee, and they were not. So I turned it into ice. I've never done that before. Obviously, that is something you can do. So we're gonna see how it works. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to pop it out of here. It's been in the freezer for a while, so I guess we'll see how it goes.
Right. Let's hurry before it gets dark. Game, so I'm guessing that wanted person poster is gonna have something to do with the scary thing. Okay, one more cobweb.
Watch the passing the seasons as bountiful harvest loves and the young queen soon.
그 뒤에는 어떻게 됐지? 나 들어가.
묻었어?
Okay, so I kind of wanted to talk about what I've been reading. Today is day 2 of period cramp city. I just had a period like 2 weeks ago, so we're getting another one. I have been reading Up a Storm, and I've also been watching a lot of good things, as you saw. So first up, we are reading The Rag Picker King. I'm almost done with it. I'm like 400 pages and it's 550 pages. So I'm just so into this. It's insane. It's obviously the second book in a series, so I'm not gonna go too in depth, but the first one, just read it, you know, like if you're a Cassandra Clare fan, just read it. I have had so much fun buddy reading this, and I just feel like I'm back in my Shadowhunters obsession. Like, this is not a Shadowhunters book, but my buddy Reed and I are going to be reading the Shadowhunters Chronicles, and I'm just you know, between Tumblr and this, I just feel like I'm in love with Shadowhunters again. 400 pages in. This is excellent. I gave the first one 5 stars. This one's probably going to be 5 stars as well. It's following 2 points of view. One is the body double for the Crown Prince. One is a healer physician who is from an ostracized people, and it's so much more than that. And it's excellent. It's fast-paced. It's fun. The angst is insane. It just feels so good to be here, and I'm really loving it. And then I'm also listening to the audiobook of Blood Mercy. This is a fantasy romance. I would say it's more fantasy than romance, and it's extremely beautifully written. I'm listening to the audiobook of it. I think I already said that, but it's basically about a human woman who is the bastard daughter to the king, and she is trying to get the Hesperians, who are like basically fey vampires, to change her because she is very unhappy. She is not treated very well by her father or anybody in the kingdom, and they're trying to marry her off, and she doesn't want to get married, etc., etc. Basically, the Hesperians have not had anything to do with the humans for like over 400 years, and now they're showing up to have kind of a peace treaty going on, and she meets with the son of the Hesperian's king or something like that, and he's immediately intrigued with her. I'm not very far in. Audible doesn't do a great job of showing you percentage. I have 11 hours left, and I think the audiobook itself is 22 hours. So I'm really liking it so far. I'm listening on 2 times speed, so I'm kind of getting through it, but I'm very interested to see how the rest of the series goes. I believe I got it on a deal, and I think I have the rest of the books on Kindle. I don't remember, but looking back, I got it for $0. So at some point it must have been on a deal, because I have the audiobook and then I also have the second book, and they're all on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm pretty excited to get through it and move on to the rest of the series and just see how the series plays out. I think it's quite a many books, and I'm pretty stoked for it. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, the writing is incredible, and I think if you are a fantasy fan and you're looking to get into romance, this is a good one. It's just lush and gorgeous, and yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I have been reading some contemporary romances over the past couple of days. I got like a whole stack of romances from my library for videos and stuff, and then I scrapped all of the video ideas, so I've been slowly reading them here and there. As for the rest of the day, I'm going to see where my buddy Reed is with their pages, what progress they are through this book, and then I'm probably going to play some Sims. Like I said, the cramps are cramping, so I want to be in the bed, comfy, cozy, and playing some Sims. I have some story progression ideas that I'm excited for. I might get comfy, cozy in my chair. I fixed it up. It's not cute anymore, but it's now like the most comfy place in the house aside from the bed. So it is Monday. I hope to have a good week. I hope my period goes away and we can have a good, calm, relaxing week. But that is that. We'll talk later. I'm gonna get into the Sims. I might introduce you to my Sims family that I'm thinking of starting, but we'll see. So
It's not because he loves Angelica, but this is all he can offer you. That is why we hold a Debath hearing. Why she cannot show her fear, her concern, in front of those gathered here.
okay, hopefully my fans are not making too much noise that you can't hear me, but I finished The Rag Picker King, and what is there to say other than this was another 5-star absolute banger. I am just so enamored with this story. I think it's such a good debut series for Cassandra Clare. I feel like the people who grew up reading her novels are now adults and looking for more adult themes, more adult writing, and like this is the next step that just makes so much sense. I'm itching for the third one, and the fact that we don't have the release date for the third one is diabolical. So I'm definitely a little bit hungover from this. I don't want to like pick up anything else. So I have been watching this K-drama that I started a couple of days ago. I think I started it last week-ish. It's called Romance is a Bonus Book. I started it, the first episode of it, like a couple of, maybe last year, a couple months ago, something like that. And I wasn't immediately riveted by it, but I decided to give it a shot because it's about books, and books are my first love. So I picked it up. It's not very funny, which is kind of what I was going for. One of my favorite K-dramas that I read recently was King the Land, and I was kind of looking for something like that, but this has completely different vibes to it. This is quite emotional, quite heavy with grief, but it's still very good. So we open the show with a woman running away from her marriage ceremony with her best friend. She ends up going back and she ends up getting married to the guy. And so we skip forward, I think like 12 years or something like that, and that woman is now living in a condemned house. Her daughter is off in a private school in another country, and her husband has left her after cheating on her. She's out of a job. She's suddenly thrust back into the workplace after a decade of not working, and she's struggling to find a place to live. She has no money, and she is helping that best friend out, finding a housekeeper, and instead of hiring a housekeeper, she takes the money, cleans his house, then uses his shower to like shower and eat and all that kind of stuff, and then leaves before he gets home, and he never realizes it. She has a job interview at his place of employment, the place that he is like, I don't know exactly what he is. He didn't start the company, but he was basically there at its inception. And so she gets a job there as like a intern. He's always been in love with her. He's been in love with her forever. And she has never, as far as we know, returned those feelings. But she's just like going through it. And she's trying to get back in the workplace and struggle with the grief of her divorce and all of that stuff. And then there's also another character that I believe will eventually be a love triangle situation. She met him on the night that she was kicked out of the house that was being condemned, and they had like an instant connection situation. He lives in her friend's neighborhood, and so they've had dinner together and stuff, but their identities are hidden from each other, and we're following her point of view, his point of view occasionally, and then what I'm assuming is the ultimate hero. I at first was not very interested in it. I was looking, like I said, for something funny and fun, but I have just been completely charmed by it, and I find myself itching to watch more of it. So I find the characters to be super endearing. I love, love, love a obsessive hero who's been in love with a heroine for years, and he definitely fits the bill. They met when they were children, and they've been best friends ever since, and he's had a thing for her forever. She's now living in his house. They're working together, and she's trying to, again, get her footing in life again. And he's taking care of her in his own way, being very sweet. And then she obviously has this thing with this guy that she doesn't know the identity of, and I can already see where their storylines are gonna kind of mix. And then underneath all of that, we have this publishing agency that is struggling a little bit. It's just charmed me. I am charmed by it. I love it so much, and I am reminded of why I like K-dramas. I have watched a plethora of K-dramas, not as many as I probably would like to watch, but I slowly make my way through, and they are just, there's just a level of intimacy that comes from the longing glances, the hands brushing, that I just love. that I love. I am on episode 5, I believe, and I think there's 11 episodes. It's on Netflix, which is where I watch the majority of them. 16 episodes. They're each an hour long, which the fact that it's keeping me entertained and keeping me drawn in when each episode is an hour is a testament to how good it is. So I'm equally excited to continue watching and not excited to get through it because I don't want it to be over. It's only one season, 16 episodes, so. I don't know what I'm going to watch next as far as K-dramas. I am watching some other shows just on in the background. I'm still watching Schitt's Creek. I'm on season 2 of that. For like funny, fun, real life. I have watched plenty of fantasy ones and I did really like that. Hotel de Luna, that one was very good. But I'm in the mood for like fun, funny, fast-paced romance shows. Oh, my partner and I did go to the movies and see live action of How to Train Your Dragon. It was decent. It was pretty good. We have a membership to AMC, so we get 3 free movie tickets a week. We definitely don't go see that many movies, but we try to go at least once a week or every other week depending on when my partner works. And so I'm glad that we saw it. I'm definitely like, I'm glad I didn't spend money to see it aside from like snacks and stuff, but it was a good movie. It was pretty true to the original movie, which I haven't seen in a long time. And yeah, it was fun. So other than that, I haven't really been watching a ton of other stuff. I've been looking for a new reality TV show to watch with my partner. We're big into competition reality TV, just like mindless shit we can turn on at the end of the night before bed. And the challenges are go-to, and it's on hiatus right now. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the evening. I have kind of gamed myself out, and after listening to the audiobook of this and finishing this while I did my puzzles online, because I have 3 cats and trying to do a puzzle in real life with 3 cats is near impossible. So I do it on my iPad, but after all of that, I kind of just want to watch a show and relax until my partner gets home. So that's about another hour. So I'm gonna finish this episode. I have 43 minutes left. We'll probably talk tomorrow, but seriously, go watch this. My recommendation, if you're trying to get into K-dramas and you want, I think most K-dramas are romance, at least the ones that I've watched, but if you're trying to get into, I've watched one that wasn't a romance and I didn't love it, but if you're trying to get into romance, I would say check out Business Proposal. That one was super fun. I really like that one. It's funny, it's fast-paced. I would check out that one. That would be my recommendation. Obviously, if you're not used to watching translated shows, it can be a little bit hard to get into. I have watched anime in my time, obviously, but I tend to watch dubbed. So I'm not super used to reading subtitles. Obviously, I have them on when I'm just watching regular TV, but it's a little bit different when you have to like read the subtitles to understand what's going on. King of Land, the hero is obsessed, like completely obsessed, giggling, kicking his feet, desperate to get texts from her. So that one's very cute. But that is my little spiel on K-dramas. I'm gonna go back to reading romance as a bonus book for the rest of the evening, and we'll probably just talk tomorrow. I'm making a little bit of midday coffee because this period is just wearing me out, but I finished The Rag Picker King and I've been struggling to find things to read. So these are the books that I have left from my library, and I decided to let a spinner wheel determine what I was going to read in what order. So this is what we have going. So we have Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, A Shadow in the Embers by Jennifer L. Armentrout, One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage, You Had Me at Ola by Alexis Daria, and lastly, Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. So according to the spinner wheel, we will be reading Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and I could only get the large print version, which is why this seems so incredibly long. I have had very mixed experiences with Emily Henry. I have really loved some and really not liked others. I have heard not great things about this one. Something that I really love about Emily Henry is how real her relationships feel and how real her characters feel, and how much they remind me of real people and like things that, scenarios that I have been in, or just like relatable things. But I have heard that this leans a little bit more into the like Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Taylor Jenkins Reid type storytelling, and that's simply not the sort of reader that I am. So we're gonna see how this goes. At least for the moment, Emily Henry is a romance author, and I think if you're marketing your novels as romance, you need to be writing romance. If you want to be writing women's fiction, then go into the women's fiction category. But regardless, we're gonna see how I feel about it. We're gonna give it a shot. The writing is absolutely absurdly big, so at least I have that going for me. But we're gonna just jump right into it and see how I feel, I guess. I'm gonna finish making my coffee and we're gonna jump into this. So I am currently reading 6 books and I'm about to make it 7. But first, let's do an OOTD. We have this button down and this blue undershirt. It's very cropped. So if I wasn't a high-waisted jeans girl, I would say this would be a little too cropped for me because like my belly button's here, but I have these high-waisted jeans that make it so it's not as bad. And then I'm wearing my white ballet flats, but I think I'm really liking these like really bright undershirts. But yes, I am reading 6 books and I'm about to make it 7. Because I'm about to start my Shadowhunter Chronicles reread with my buddy Reed. So I'm reading so much right now. I started A Big Beautiful Life, and I ended up getting like 30 pages in, a couple chapters in, and I did set it down. And then I decided to pick it back up. I'm gonna read it in between other things. I don't know. I'm not like super thrilled about it, but I want to give it like a fair shot. So, and then I'm reading some other romances and fantasy romances. I'm reading that Jennifer L. Armentrout book, and it's actually pretty interesting so far. I was thinking that it would just be a ripoff of her From Blood and Ash series, which I liked the first one, and then the books just got progressively worse as the series went on. For clarification, the first one was like a 3-star, and then the rest were like 2 and 1 stars. I thought it was just gonna be a ripoff of that, and it's actually like surprisingly different. It seems to be a Hades and Persephone retelling situation, but I'm liking it so far. I'm only like, again, 30 pages into that one as well, but and then I started some fan fiction. Still reading Blood Mercy. I started another hockey romance. So yeah, I just have a lot going on in the reading world right now, and I'm living for it. And I also started some shows, but we'll talk about the shows later because I actually need to start doing some work. So In case you're wondering, I don't hold. I have been reading and watching Up a Storm. I recently started watching Only Murders in the Building, which is this like delightfully fast and fun murder mystery show about 3 people who all live in this same building in New York City, and they're investigating a murder going on in the building, and it's just so fun. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like the most clever murder mystery thing you can probably watch, but you can just tell that there's like a lot of love and silly energy in the show that I really, really like. I am like 6 or 7 episodes in to the first season, and I really am having a ton of fun with it. But other than that, I've been reading and reading and reading. So my buddy Reed and I started Mortal Instruments with City of Bones yesterday. I think I started this. I got 180 pages in. Now, I cut my teeth on Cassandra Clare, if you will. I have been reading Cassandra Clare since I was in middle school. The first time that I read this, I was 11 or 12 years old. So I grew up reading Cassandra Clare, and I love her stories so much, as I mentioned with The Swordcatcher. And being back with the original series is just so good. I think I've read this first one 4 or 5 times. The Infernal Devices is definitely my favorite series, but the nostalgia of going back and reading The Mortal Instruments is just so good. I forgot how quick these books go by, and I'm just really, really enjoying myself. And then I'm reading some other stuff. I mentioned that I started A Shadow in the Ember. I didn't get much further than the last time we talked about it. I only got to page 47, and I'm still interested in it for sure. It's just not like top of mind. And I tried to read A Great Big Beautiful Life. I DNF'd that for a second time. I just wasn't massively into it. I tried to read One Golden Summer. Again, DNF'd that one. I'm not like a beachy read, summer romance sort of person. So that sort of energy just is not for me. And nothing has really been catching my fancy quite like these two have been. So I did start Daydream, which is a 3rd book in this Hannah Grace, I think her name is, series. And I was not the biggest fan of the first one. The second one was okay, but I've heard that the 3rd one is really, really good. The main character is in love with books, and it's kind of like a nerdy sports romance situation, but I just couldn't get into the e-book, so I reserved the audiobook for my library, so we're going to return to that once I get my reservation or my hold or whatever. So I'm going to be focusing on these two and then still listening to my audiobook of Blood Mercy. But I did want to give a very exciting announcement. I've been speaking about for a couple of weeks that I was excited to start a book club over on the Fable app, and I have officially set it up. I will leave the link down in the description if you're interested. It's going to be a romance-centered book club. Everything will be handled in that app, and I really hope that you guys will join me. Our first selection is A Love Letter to Whiskey, and I'm really hoping that we enjoy it. The thing that I really like about Fable is you can update the community book chapter by chapter, which I really am intrigued by. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. And I would love for you guys to join me. That being said, the rest of the weekend, I am going to relax, read, and watch my shows. So I really hope that you guys have enjoyed the video. Please consider subscribing if you are interested in more videos like this from me. Check out all of my social medias linked down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next one.